Okay, welcome everybody to the Rink podcast. We're back, Puffy.
We are back.
You ready for another episode?
Oh yeah, we're closing in on that winter break.
That's it.
Almost
the last
feel it.
one. Well, not quite the last one. We'll have one more maybe before the end of the year, I think, if I'm doing my weeks and
definitely
days
have
counting.
something out.
We should have something out. So it's been a busy fall for the podcast, and it's been busy for both of us because we've been in the rink a ton. So as we do, Puff, what rinks were you into this week?
Well, just got back from Scarborough Centennial as usual, and as usual, the 1-1 night. The younger guys, although we scored the most goals we've scored in a game all year, but we came up short against North York. It was a good game though, and then the older guys they beat Goulding Park, and so it's a nice game. But I was at Scotiabank Pond on Saturday, for the U12 game with Austin's team, and now you've been there lots of times. The front parking is pretty hard to get.
Yes, you have to kind of time it with a team leaving to get a spot up there.
So I tend to park on the southeast side of the building.
Okay.
And there's lots of parking over there. It's great. So there's plenty of parking. But when you're entering the building, you can get in the doors on that side. But when you go up the level, the doors are locked, so you can't get into the building. And I just don't know why they don't leave those doors unlocked. I mean, it's such a big building with all those pads. They should really let every door be accessible.
I know what you mean. There is times that I've gone in there and I've ended up in what I feel like is where like the Zamboni parks, like I've been caught in sort of an area there. But I'm going to be honest with you. There's something that I usually am pretty lucky, like just in general with parking spots. I have been very lucky throughout my life to always get a decent parking spot. Now I'm saying it publicly. It may not always work out, but it can be December 24th at the mall. I'm right beside wheelchair parking.
Really?
Like, I always win a parking spot. So I never really have too many problems with parking there. I generally find it, but I know what you're talking about. I have parked around the side there, and then you have to walk on a cold night. You have to walk all the way around, and the doors.
And it's fine to walk to the front, but it's just like there's entrances on the side. Right. It's a huge facility. Yes. It's like, why not just have them unlocked and let people enter from all kinds of angles?
It is a huge facility. I love that Scotia Pond. It is a treat. I also am frustrated with that place. Why everyone has to go in that one way off of the road there. I forget what the road is called. But it's so big in the middle of Downsview. Why can't we have multiple entrances straight lined in?
Just fire us all in there. But it's a great facility.
If we were city planners.
That's my one quibble with the building.
So you're at Scotia Pond. Yeah, let's do it. It can't be a fire hazard. So you're at Scotia Pond. You were at
Scarborough Centennial.
Anywhere else?
MLS as usual, but that's our little dingy practice pad.
Nice. Yeah. Well, for us, we were up at Chesswood, just north of the pond.
Love
Great
it.
barn. Had some fries. Posted about that. Showed the fries. The whole team got fries after the game. I think we sold them out of fries this weekend. We were at Leaside a couple times, which is nice because it's nice and close for us East Yorkers. And then we were recently up at Thornhill, which
I like that
community. Yeah, and there's a statue up front. I don't know if you've ever been there. There's a statue of a gentleman out front. There's no plaque on who he is. I have to go back. I didn't look that hard, but I kind of looked to see where it was. But anyway, beautiful rink. We played the Avenue Road Ducks, who was in last time we did the rankings is in second place for
second ranked team
for second rank, and we had a win. We had a win against the Ducks. So we beat the Ducks and Don Mills. We haven't beat Forest Hill yet, but we'll see it today if we're still in 12th spot. It's hard.
Well, did you? I'll give a teaser. You're not in 12th spot.
I feel like we've gone down with the win. So let's see how these stats work.
Did you do a trap on the star kid, or did you just outplay them?
We did. We had like a trap. We definitely had a trap. But like I said last time, they have a bunch of kids that are just as good. So like we were on our toes the whole game. They got an early goal, so we were down 1-0. And then we came back and tied it, and we held it. And then we had a quick second goal after that. And then it was intense. Like at the end of the game, the last like 4 minutes where we were up by 2-1, they pulled the goalie, and oh man, it felt like a playoff game. My heart was ready watching. Like, it was crazy. And, on the way out, Ozzy walked out with that kid from Avenue Road who's like a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
Nicest kid in the world.
That's great to hear. Great.
Said hi to me. Didn't even know who I was. Hey, how are you? I told him we love playing against him. He's like, I love playing against your team. And really great kid. A really great game against the Avenue Road Ducks. So we played the Arrows as well. And also Clive in the CDS program.
Yeah. Look at you. CDS.
Yes, I didn't mess it up with the CDS, but we have a rotational goalie.
Okay.
So I was going to ask you about this. So Clive played goalie this weekend in East York Arena, one of my favorite barns, actually.
Great barn.
And what's your take on, so I'm in this phase where, Cliver's 7. He's showing a little bit of interest in goalie.
Uh-oh.
However, I think the hardest position on any team is the parents of the goalie.
For sure.
And I don't really want him to be a goalie.
100%.
But he's showing a little interest there. What's your counsel? What's your advice here to sort of move away? What do you think?
I've been very anti-goalie for my kids the entire time.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully, neither showed a huge interest in it.
Right.
But I do get, especially with younger kids, because the equipment is super cool. And, it's a tough one because I think some goalies' parents do enjoy it because your kid, when he's playing, is very involved in the game.
Right.
But it's a lot of pressure.
A lot of stress, it feels like.
A lot of stress. And it's a different experience, I think.
Yeah. Well,
I think if your kid's super into it, you kind of have to support it. But
right. Well, we're not quite there. I think we still have the ability to influence one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I'm working that angle, but also I know, like, having gone through it with Mac somewhat, and then Ozzy now.
Yeah.
The teams have 2 goalies, so you only actually play every other game too, which I'm always like kind of feeling like, is that what you signed up for? Do you want to do that? Do you want to always be goalie? So anyway. Clive was goalie. He didn't. I'll show a clip of it. We didn't have a win there. He's working through it, but he's better up front, I think. Anyway, so that was our week.
Awesome.
Yeah. Also, actually, another thing from this week that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. So little news, and maybe I'm going to sound stupid, which I'm fine with because I think that's a little bit of what the charm of this podcast is.
Exactly.
Grant sounds a little stupid sometimes, and. Ozzy's team, one of the kids was playing, stick broke on the in the play.
Yes.
And he just held on to the shaft of the stick and kept playing. Whistle, penalty.
That is a penalty.
I had no idea. I was like, what's the penalty here? Because I think he was just skating over to the side or whatever. I didn't realize that if
you got to immediately drop the stick.
Yeah. No idea. And I didn't realize you get a penalty for that. And so, we ended up with a penalty on that against a game against who are we playing? Maybe Lee's side or the Arrows. Arrows, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea. I said I got to bring it up on the pod because that was a new one for me.
Did you yell at the referee at all? Because that would have been a little embarrassing.
No, but I definitely cheer for icing all the time now. I can tell you I do that. I do like. I think being a ref in the GTHL has got to be hard though because everyone yells at you. That's something I have noticed for
sure. We were giving it to the ref pretty good in Barrett's game tonight because the call with the whistle was very inconsistent. That's all you want. You want consistency.
So as a coach, you're a coach, right?
Yes.
You sit on the bench. When the ref comes over and talks to you when like that happens, like a bad play, what are they saying to you usually? What are they just kind of saying? Hey,
they're usually
what's the dialogue
explaining what they saw, and you're usually explaining what you saw. For the most part, I think they're pretty good guys. Obviously, I don't think I can't say any, but most referees are just trying to do their job. And like everyone, you're going to see some stuff differently than others.
Right.
But I think as a parent and as a coach, you just want the calls to be as consistent as possible. And that's where I think the frustration comes in is when something's not called and then it gets called later in the game or vice versa.
The inconsistency.
And, but at the end of the day, thank God for referees. These people do take more abuse than they deserve. Yeah. And if they didn't do it, we wouldn't have games played.
No,
right? So,
you wouldn't.
So we do need to be a little bit easier on the refs, although it is hard in the moment.
And
I actually do want a referee.
You do. You want to be a ref.
Yeah. When the kids are done playing, I think I'm going to try to do it.
I'll do it. Maybe we can do it together.
Be a lot of fun. Yeah, I think it would be.
Can we be like a team?
Yeah, you can be safe, and
I'll have to learn a lot of more rules than I know today. I'll tell you
rules.
That much.
You'll have to study that rule book.
I might just do the scoreboard. Actually, I might just be the scoreboard person.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I'll just hand signal you the goals.
Yeah, and I'll do the music.
Yeah,
you know how we talked about we want music. I would do that.
See, that's the thing. I always love when you go to a game and the person doing the scoreboard also mixes in music. Like sometimes they do it on their own.
Yeah.
And it just adds such an element to the game.
Couldn't agree more. And
some people are really good at it. Like they can, because it's busy doing the timekeeping.
Yes.
But then to mix in the music. But some people, like I think we were at a tournament this year. I can't remember. It might have been Stratford. And the guy was crushing it with how on the music he was. Like as soon as play stopped, the clock was stopped, the tunes were kicked in. It was like he was working at an NHL game. He was fantastic.
There you go. I love it. So there you go. So that was a busy week. Always learning, really. Always learning is what I would have to say to that week right there.
Yeah.
And, and I guess for the one thing I would say is there's never been a time where the goalie or where the referee gets yelled at and then says, you know what? I made a bad call. I'm going to reverse it. That never happens either. So yelling at the ref doesn't really change much.
It doesn't.
What I've also learned through this. Yeah. They've never said, you're right.
But you might get a call. You might get a parent in the stand, definitely now. But it's so hard not to.
Yeah. So you've also had a busy week too. You and Stoff, haven't you?
Yes.
You got some news.
Oh, well, Stoff and I have another venture. You
do. Your original venture.
We do another podcast that called the Rubber Boots Podcast with TSN's James Duthie, Lester McLean, myself, and Stoff. And we had a bit of a hiatus. I think we're season 11 now.
Well, that's incredible.
And we're coming back this week with a couple episodes.
Everyone's excited.
We do have a small but very dedicated fan base.
Yes, I see it.
We are a very different podcast.
Are you? What do you mean by that? You said, because we're talking pretty specific GTHL minor.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more
broad, a little bit more stories,
and more adult stories. Yeah,
lifestyle stories.
Lifestyle stories. Yeah,
lifestyle stories. I like it.
But we have a lot of fun.
That's, I mean, I've listened to it a few times over the years, more than a few times, to be honest. I've listened to it a bunch. And so it's a great podcast. And I know you've had a hiatus, so it's great to see it come back. We shared it on our stories on our Instagram. So I know you have a dedicated fan base, because if you go in and you read the comments, they're from all over the place. Because I think you wrote, where are you from? And there was a bunch of comments from all over Canada and all over everywhere. So
yeah, we get people from all over. I honestly don't know how people listen to it from across the country, let alone around the world, because you're just kind of like, why? But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's been good,
and we use it to pump the To the Rink podcast.
Well, hopefully we get a little bump.
Lots of plugs.
Yes,
in that one.
That's great. Well, no, I'm sure it will be great to listen to that again. So a little Christmas treat for everybody. Another Rubber Boots podcast coming for everybody.
For sure.
Right. All right, Puffy.
Yes.
We're getting to the end of the season. We got the holiday break, I think, upon many teams now. Everyone wants to know where we sit going into the holidays. So what are the rankings?
Okay, let's go. Yeah, because Barrett's team, they played their last game of the year. Austin's, we still got one more. But, yeah, a lot of teams are starting to wrap up for the little Christmas break. I hope everyone has a great, happy holiday. 10. So let's start as usual in the U10 AAA. Continues to have G teams in the top 3 spots and 5 of the top 8 overall, with the Toronto Marlboros remaining in top spot. The second-ranked Vaughan Kings continue to roll, pulling off an impressive 3-1 win over the top-ranked and previously unbeaten in GTHL play Toronto Marlboros last Sunday. So that's a huge victory for the Vaughan Kings.
Nice.
U10 AA has 3 of the top 10 from the G, with the EastEnders leading G teams in second spot. 5th-ranked Toronto Wolverines, winners of 6 straight games, have a huge game this Saturday when they face the 21st-ranked Streetsville Tigers at Scotia Pond. Winner will be top spot in the West heading into the new year.
Nice.
U10 Single A still waiting for a G team in the top 10, with the top G team still the Markham Islanders in 34th place, the Vaughan Rangers in 35th, and Forest Hills in 36th. Talbot Trailblazers remain in top spot in Ontario despite suffering 2 losses in their last 10 games, both to the second-ranked Mount Bridges Cougars.
Mount Bridges Cougars, that's, you know where that is.
I don't. Where I can't remember.
We talked about it. Outside of London, Ontario. It's the only place I've ever had to call 911. Mount Bridges.
You'll never forget that place.
I'll never forget Mount Bridges.
Well, Mount Bridges is going to come up again later.
U11
AAA has the G holding down the top 4 spots in 5 of the top 7, with JRC leading the way. The second-ranked Toronto Marlboros are hot on JRC's heels, thanks in part to a big 3-1 win over the 4th-ranked Vaughan Kings at Chesswood last Saturday.
I was there.
U11, you were there. You were there last Saturday.
Yeah, that's when we had the fries.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
U11 AA remains with 2 G teams in the top 10, with the Vaughan Panthers, the top G team, moving up 1 spot to 4th. The Toronto Eastenders are just outside the top 10 in 11th after suffering their first GTHL loss of the season to the 18th ranked Leaside Flames, 7-3 Sunday morning at Scarborough Village. That Sunday morning Scarborough Village is a tough game.
Yeah.
We played those last year with both boys, and
I remember.
You can get some uneven effort sometimes with how early in the morning it is.
Every Sunday at like 7:30 and 8:30 or something, I remember.
Yeah, we were 8 and 9. But you had to be there at like 7 o'clock, so it's an early start every Sunday.
Well, I have that right now because we're up at Hockey Factory for 7:15.
On Sunday morning?
Every Sunday morning. So Cliver and I get up and we head out there around 6:40, 6:45. And this week was parents versus kids game where
how'd you do?
I strapped on the skates and the helmet for my once a year time out on the ice. So
nice.
It's okay. I mean, I look silly. Let's be honest here. I'm not that great of a skater or a hockey player even. I mean, and my hockey stick is like so whittled down because it's been used for road hockey for so much that it just looks, I look sad is really what happens. I look very sad out there.
But Clive would have loved having you out there.
Oh, yeah. He's loving it because he's just dancing circles around me scoring. I'm trying not to fall.
U11 Single A still has no teams from the G in the top 10, with the Leaside Flames, the top G team, in 17th spot for what feels like the 100th week in a row. Big game to look for in the new year. Battle for first place in the East when those 17th ranked Leaside Flames, and they're in second place right now. They'll play the 24th ranked and first place North Toronto Sunday, January 14th at North Toronto Arena. We need to get Live Barn in there. We need that Live Barn.
They're not in that arena, right?
They're not in it yet, and we need to get one in there.
That's like that's a busy barn.
Yeah, and the game on, they were in North Toronto. It wasn't the best camera, but they were there, so we need Live Barn to get in there.
Will Live Barn be in the new Ted Reeve? I wonder.
Oh, that's the thing we don't know. That's going to be interesting
because we
desperately,
we'll have to follow up with some reporting on that one, Puff.
Yeah, we need them in there. U12 AAA remains a G-dominated loop, holding the top 4 and 7 of the top 9 spots. The North York Rangers, winners of 23 straight games, remain the top team in Ontario, if not the world. Third-ranked Toronto Marlboros had a tough week, suffering 1-goal losses to the second-ranked JRC and fourth-ranked Vaughan Kings. U12 AA has the top 2 ranked teams in Ontario and 4 of the top 10, all from the GTHL West Division. Faustina Toros and Mississauga Beast remain 1-2. The second-ranked Beasts have a tough start to the new year, playing the 6th-ranked Vaughan Rangers and the top-ranked Toros back-to-back right after the Christmas break. U12 Single A still has 0 teams from the GTHL in the top 10, with the Vaughan Rangers, the top G team, staying in 17th. The top-ranked team in Ontario, Mount Bridges Cougars.
Look at that.
That's quite the Single A organization. They must be just pumping out kids in Mount Bridges.
I think Mount Bridges is one of those communities now that was like a rural community, but I think a lot of urban, rural, like suburban sprawl in there now. So you got lots more people in Mount Bridges, I believe. It's been years since I was there.
Because they obviously have some powerhouse teams, because they seem to be dominating at most of the young ages.
New Orleans pizza there. It's actually pretty good.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
U13
AAA continues with the top 2 and 3 of the top 4 from the G. Huge game Saturday afternoon coming up is the top-ranked JRC, winners of 18 straight league games, play the second-ranked and second place in the league Vaughan Kings at Westwood Arena.
Okay.
U13 AA, still with one team in the top 10 from the G, with Forest Hill remaining in 9th spot. The 16th ranked Duffield Devils continue to roll, winners of 10 straight games, including a 4-0 win over the 15th ranked and first placed Vaughan Rangers. U13 Single A still has no teams in the top 10 from the G. Leaside Flames, number 1, continue to be the top G team despite falling back one spot to 34th. Big game for Leaside to kick off the new year when they face second place and 42nd ranked West Hill Hawks Saturday, January 6th at St. Mike's.
Love that one. Love that barn.
I do love St. Mike's.
Yeah.
U14.
U14 AAA has the top 6 ranked teams, all from the G, and 7 of the top 10, with the Markham Majors leading the way. 2024 will start off with a bang January 2nd when the hottest team in U14, winners of 15 straight games in the second ranked and first place Mississauga Senators, meet the second place JRC at Paramount.
Okay.
U14 AA has 3 of the top 5 spots and 4 of the top 8, with the Vaughan Rangers continuing as the top G team in second spot. The Rangers will have a tough start to the new year when they face the 5th ranked and second place Toronto Eagles January 3rd at Lambton Arena. Now, in an earlier podcast, I had said that Lambton Arena was near the 401.
Yeah, you said a road. Actually,
yeah, I said I think I said a highway, and then I said a road.
Okay.
And one of our faithful listeners reached out and
corrected
said
you.
I did say it with confidence, but I was completely wrong. It's actually near Dundas and Jane.
Dundas,
so not anywhere
Jane.
Close to where not anywhere close to where I was.
Okay, yeah, that's like Stockyards area.
Yeah, apologies to anyone who was looking for Lambton Arena right off of 401.
Someone's just driving around. They haven't tuned into Waze or Google Maps at all. They're just trusting
going
your
on
judgment. Puffy said it's by here.
He said it's by the highway. U14 Single A has an impressive 7 of the top 10 from the G, with the Toronto Eagles remaining in top spot for the 5th week in a row. Despite suffering a pair of 1-goal losses, the Toronto Arrows managed to move up in the rankings to 9th overall. Nice. So sometimes being bad is good.
Yeah, well.
U15 AAA sees the G with 4 of the top 5 and 5 of the top 9 spots, but there is a new number 1 with JRC grabbing top spot and the Toronto Titans falling from 1 to 3 after losing 3-0 to the second-ranked Jamie Edwards-led Don Mills Flyers Monday night at Scotiabank Pond. U15 AA now has 3 teams in the top 5 from the G, with the Vaughan Rangers in 3rd and the Vaughan Panthers in 4th, and Ted Reeve moving up 3 spots to 5th. The Thunder are riding a 17-game winning streak in the league. They might be the best show in the East Side right now.
The AA U15.
Yeah, they are playing really well.
One of the Aussie's old teammates is now on that team. He went up to that team last year.
Oh, nice. Well, he's obviously doing a good job contributing because they are on a heater.
Nice.
U15 Single A continues its dominance, holding down the top 5 spots in 7 of the top 10, with Forest Hill remaining in top spot. Despite a huge 3-2 win over the second-ranked Avenue Ducks, as we talked about earlier on this podcast, Ted Reeve fell a spot to 13th.
Of course, because the numbers don't lie.
You got to trust the math. You got to trust the math.
You win, you go down. You lose, you go up. Again, listen, so over the holidays, we really got to reach out to the minor hockey.
I know. I sent him another message, and I've still not heard back. I can't believe they wouldn't have been... somebody hasn't mentioned to them that this podcast is going on.
We will be nice. We will be nice.
We just want to understand.
You win, how do you go down?
U16 AAA now has 4 of the top 5 and 5 of the top 8 from the G, with the Vaughan Kings remaining as the top team in Ontario for the 4th week in a row. The North York Rangers moved into the top 5 despite a 4-3 loss to the 4th-ranked JRC. U16 still has 2 teams from the G in the top 10, with the Mississauga Beast remaining the top GA team in 3rd spot. Team to watch in the East is the North York Knights, winners of 3 straight and sit tied for 2nd in the East and 22nd in the rankings. And finally, U16 Single A sees the G continue to dominate, holding 6 of the top 10, with North Toronto remaining in top spot. The Markham Islanders dropped from 2nd to 3rd in part due to a 4-2 loss to West Hill on Tuesday night at Scarborough Centennial.
There you go.
That is the rankings for this week.
That's the update. Nice. Well done. Well done, everybody. So lots of movement going into the holiday. Lots of hockey still left.
Yes.
Yes.
And hockey's about to get super busy for with Christmas and holidays with World Juniors.
World Junior. I was going to ask you about it because that means you're busy. Because I know we've been trying to schedule a dinner, which I think we found the time.
We have.
But it is all evolving around the World Junior schedule.
Yeah, but at least it's in Sweden this year, so
right.
That means my nights become more open and my days are very busy.
Yeah. So who's going to win this year? Who do you think? Are we looking,
I think the team
looking good?
I think the team to beat is going to be the United States. They have I think 10 returning players, but they are going to be very strong. But Canada has won 2 in a row, looking for a three-peat, and we're bringing a super talented roster. Young. There's only one returning player, and he only played half of last year's tournament, so it'll be an inexperienced group, but a very talented one. Now, the player to watch is Macklin Celebrini.
Where's he from?
He's from, I think, Vancouver.
Okay.
He's definitely from BC. He goes to Boston University. He's a freshman there.
Okay.
And he's looking like he might be the first overall pick in the NHL draft this year.
Oh, wow.
Now, the thing about Macklin, I think he's going to blow up at this tournament. He wears because he's an underage player, he has to wear a full cage.
Right.
And he wears it, I guess, the way the kids are wearing it. It's or the cool way. It's called the cage hang, and it's sort of an oversized face mask that kind of hangs down and hangs out. Well, we had at TSN, a bunch of the players were interviewed to talk about it, and they all were making fun of him for how unsafe the cage hang is. Like, it basically why he's even wearing it.
Right.
But at the same time, they all said it. No, but it's like it's not even protecting his face really. It's so far out.
Okay.
But they all thought it was really cool.
Right.
And I have noticed that a lot of the kids you're seeing it at the rinks a little bit, where they have the cage hang, which doesn't protect the chin at all.
A little bit of the minor hockey Tide Pod eating challenge, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the safest thing. And I do fear that it's going to blow up with the kids once this kid lights up the World Juniors in a couple weeks.
Well, as I was mentioning to you, some of the parents were talking about this last night, actually, and looking at some of our players where we couldn't tell if they were doing it or not. But here's my thing, though, right, is so they have to wear a full cage because they're junior, right? Yeah. But as soon as they hit 18. What is it? 18, they can wear like just a visor.
This called the visor, yeah.
So, I mean, it's more protection than what most NHL players are wearing.
For sure.
Not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there is protection there. They just don't. So what's the purpose? They just don't want it on their chin. They don't want it. Close to them. It's
I think it's honestly for style. Like it's 100% style points for the kids.
Right.
And it's caught on, and so it's going to take a few kids getting hurt, unfortunately.
Right. Before they call it
to really say like, no, you can't, or referees to like not
cage hang,
or leagues to discipline it or whatever.
Right.
But
there's no rules against it now, though.
Right now, it seems to fly.
Right. It's kind of like when back in the day when the NBA players started wearing longer shorts, and I think that was a style, and wear your shorts low, and then they made longer shorts, some of the teams, but really they were supposed to be a certain length, and then they sort of just gave up. I mean, but it's not necessarily the same because it's not necessarily safety, but in terms of a trend that just sort of started in terms of how you're wearing your equipment, it sounds a little bit familiar to that, where one started to do that and then everyone started to follow. So the cage hang is the new thing. Okay.
But it's funny because
are you going to do it in beer league?
No chance. See, I'm the opposite. Like, I keep talking to guys at work that played in the NHL, and I'm like, within 10 years, everyone should be wearing full cage masks. Like, whenever you see these guys getting pucks off the face, their teeth knocked out, scars, I'm like, why? Like, we don't need to do this. And 100% of the former NHL players are like, I would retire before I would wear a full mask. They're like so against it, and I can't understand it. But I'm like, it's like, okay, I guess. Like if there was a briefcase with $100,000 cash, sitting on the ice, and all you had to do was block 100-mile-an-hour slap shot with your face, would you do it? I don't think I could. I don't think I like.
Like, you're guaranteed getting it in the face.
You're 100%. You're getting it right in the face. 100 miles an hour.
Oh my God! You lose your teeth. You break
like
your nose.
But these guys have no problem with that. They want to look cool.
It sounds crazy. I mean, I think, again, maybe I sound silly as per normal branding for me on this pod, but I would always wear a full cage. I don't know why you would wear a full cage your whole junior career, and then you get to, where like pucks are going 100 miles an hour, and you decide visor.
They can't take it off fast enough. They're full cage. Like, the kids are even like that. As soon as they get to junior, visor. And I'm sure if they didn't have to wear a visor, they wouldn't. Right. Which is crazy to me, but that's why I'm not in the NHL. Well, that's the only reason. That's the only. Otherwise, we'd both be in the NHL. It's just we're soft.
Me too. Yeah, I think it's the same. I'm the same. I'm not in there because we don't have a full cage, and
I'd only play in the full NHL with full mask.
Now I just do parent Sunday morning hockey once a year. Really, really.
It was one or the other.
Well, we're heading into the end of the pod here, Puff. Yes. And so, as we do before we go for the holiday break here, even though we'll have some episodes, we have to do our song of the week here. And so it is the holiday season, whatever you celebrate, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. What's our song of the week for the holidays? So, Puff, why don't you give us yours this week?
So mine is my favorite Christmas song. Yeah. It's called Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues and Christy McCall. Yeah. Shane McGowan, who's the lead singer of the Pogues, just passed away recently, so the song is taking a new popularity. But it's one of the all-time classics. It is not exactly a pump-up jam, but it is. It's just a great listening song, and I think that if that played after a big W in the dressing room, the right time, the kids learn it, boom, the whole crowd would be singing. It'd be a great song.
I know the song well. I totally agree with you. I think it's a great song and one that always gets played around the holidays for us. Fairy Tale of New York, great song. So mine, also in the holiday spirit or Christmas spirit, is the classic. When this came out, I couldn't believe it, actually. I was young when this song came out, and this to me was like, wow, we've really hit peak, not just a fad to my parents anymore, which is Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis, I was like, rap now is in the Christmas songs, Mom and Dad. It is not a phase. I love rap music, and that song is no different. I still play it every year. Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC. Great video, by the way, too.
Great video.
Back in the day, they used to make great videos. They don't really
I really wish music videos were still a thing.
I know.
I feel like we're old men yelling at clouds, but they were the best. They were the best.
Videos. Yeah. So there you go. So that's the episode this week. We had a wonderful episode last week where we interviewed Reed. So we want to also just thank Reed for coming on the pod again. Reed Acton, that is. Great interview. We have another one coming up next week. We'll drop that over the holiday season. So more to come on the next guest. And we'll just keep recording right through here, heading into the holiday season and then right into the new year to keep the interest going on what's happening in the GTHL as we get into 2024. So, Puff, before we sign off, anything else?
No, everyone just have happy holidays, and we'll see you at the rink in 2024.
Yeah, we'll see you at the rink then. Thanks for listening. Please listen on Spotify, Apple, follow us on YouTube or Instagram. We appreciate it. Like, review, share, stuff. Thanks so much for this. Happy holidays to everybody, and we'll see you very soon.